Allison, we're ready whenever you are.
Dr. Biden, thank you for talking with us today. You spent some time with students and educators at Pasco-Hernando State College, and you're doing that as part of your national back to school tour. So why are you doing a tour like that?
Well, I think because, this is back to school time, and so many parents and educators and students are confused. Is it safe to go back? What's it going to look like? What's reopening going to look like? So I'm traveling for the next couple of days to all different schools. Yesterday, I was at an elementary school. I did a tour, and I talked to the faculty there, and I saw what they were doing to get ready to go back to school. They were bringing giving kids laptops, and I saw, just the things that they were doing in that elementary school to help get things together for the new school year.
As a teacher, a lifelong teacher, what has that been like for you, watching these schools going back at such a different time and seeing colleges go back to what they have to? And do you think that it was a good idea that they went back into the classrooms right now?
I think that we have to listen to the doctors and the scientists, and they're the ones that are going to tell us when it's safe to go back. And when they say it's safe to go back, we'll go back. But until then, I think we have to continue to do remote learning. I think that's the safest choice right now.
We heard from some of the students and educators at Pasco-Hernando State College talking about their concerns. They talked a lot about technology concerns, financial concerns, even mental health concerns right now. What do you think, if your husband is elected president, he would do to fix some of those concerns for students?
Well, I know that Joe has been listening to me and to a lot of educators and students around the country. And the one thing that I've heard really universally is that we need more mental health support, not only for our students, but for our educators as well. Students are at home now, and I don't know whether you know this, Allison, but child abuse is on the rise. Domestic violence is on the rise. There's a lot of food insecurity. There's a lot of anxiety, not only with students, but with their parents as well. And when our kids come back to school, they're bringing all of this with them. And so we need to offer mental health help to students, to educators as well, because they're dealing with a lot. I mean, they've had to, within the course of a couple months, our educators have had to just change totally the way that they teach. And they've done an incredible job. And they've shown how resilient they are.
It seemed there was a little hesitation on some of the parts of students coming back or even staying home because they didn't have the right technology, or maybe going to classes because they don't have the right PPE. How do you think your husband would help in those situations if he's elected president?
Well, that's one of the things about this pandemic. It has really shown this light on really the inequity that exists. Like, not all areas of our country have broadband. So Joe would invest in broadband to make sure that every student had internet access. We need to make sure that students have laptops or computers so that they can get the work done. So as Joe Biden, as a president, there's some of the things that he would start to do. And then he would make sure that, we start our kids with universal pre-K at 3 years old, so that every kid gets the same start, and then goes through their education and ends with free community college. So Joe Biden's America looks a lot different than Donald Trump's America.
You had a lot of passion when you were talking about teaching, when you were speaking to the educators, and we know that you're still a teacher, and you talked about the fact that you would want to continue to teach if you become First Lady. How would you do that?
Well, I did teach all 8 years that I was Second Lady. So this summer I took the course to be able to teach remotely. And so hopefully when we're elected, I will be the First Lady who teaches a class. So being an educator is who I am, and teaching is what I do. So that's my passion, and that's what I'd like to continue to do, because I think it's important that we lift up the profession of our teachers and we see really what they've done and how strong they are and how creative they are. And really, nobody wants to get, back in the classroom more than I do. So I know that all the educators across America feel the exact same way.
If Joe Biden is elected and you become First Lady, what will your platform be? What is your vision for this country?
Oh gosh, as a military mom, our son Bo served in Iraq for a year. I'm the daughter of a Navy signalman. One of the things that I would work for is trying to help our military. And when Joe was vice president, Michelle Obama and I worked together on our Joining Forces initiative, and we help military families in areas of education and employment and health and well-being. And so I think day one, I would just pick up that and get started with that. And then, of course, I'm passionate about free community college. So I started that in the Obama-Biden administration. I would continue that as well. And then there's the issue of cancer. Cancer is not a Republican issue or a Democratic issue. It's a human issue. And I think that I think almost every American family has been touched by the disease of cancer. And as you probably know, Allison, our son died of brain cancer. And so if we could change the face of cancer as we know it, that would be really, that's something that's so meaningful to me and to Joe. So they're just three of the things that I would get to work on right away, as if I have the honor of being your First Lady.
I think that's all we have time for today, Allison, but thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Dr. Biden, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thanks, Allison.
And by Dr. Biden.